What's up, dudes? It's Jeff, and don't mind me, just doing a little homework. Man, I love homework! Video games and calculators are good at their own things. One relieves stress, and the other one causes it. But what if they existed simultaneously on the same platform? Well, that's where the phone comes in. Oh yeah, graphing calculators too, I guess. Calculator gaming is a thing that was popular in the late 90s, but has died down a bit over the years. The name speaks for itself, gaming on a calculator. But how is that even possible? Well, it is with Texas Instruments graphing calculators. These things are less powerful than a smartphone from 2011, but they still sell them for But they still have a community of people making games so you have something to do during a math test. This all started back in 1990 when Texas Instruments released the TI-81, a graphing calculator that allowed you to program in BASIC, although you couldn't transfer your creations anywhere or use a more powerful language called assembly, so no one even tried to program on this thing. In 1992, they released another calculator known as the TI-85, and it had much more power, along with a port to transfer files to a computer and back to the calculator. Although you still couldn't make programs in assembly. Now you could install a glitched backup file that would execute custom code to give you access to assembly, but that was too much work. But people did make a lot of games for it written in assembly. A couple of graphing calculators later, and we have the TI-83. This was the first Texas Instruments calculator to have official assembly support, and everyone made so many games for it. But what games did people make? Well, some people made games like Doom, which I find impressive, but I don't have a lot of room on my calculator, so I passed on Doom. People also made a Mario game for it. I originally wanted to play it, but looking at the footage, it looked like it'd be a nightmare to play. This is my TI-84 Plus calculator. I just found this laying around in my house. I have older siblings, so that makes sense. I have a few games on this calculator that I'd like to show. The first one is g.e.v Pong. Can you guess who made it? Yes, it was me. So one day, I was bored and decided to follow a tutorial on how to make Pong, and here I am passing it off as my own creation by calling it g.e.v Pong. The next game I have is Jezzball by Joe Wingler Glutentag. So what is Jezzball by Joe Winglerberger? Well, it's one of those games where you need to trap all the balls in a small box without them touching the lines that you were trying to make. It's a simple, but a fun one. Good job, Joe Winglerberger. Yes, I got it right! Next up is Pac-Man by Kevin Horowitz. Pac-Man's a great arcade game that's really fun to go for high scores. This version also has a high score section. You can see that I have a lot of competition here. Play the game, you can notice that there is some slowdown. I'm not sure if this was done on purpose or not, but it makes the game a whole lot easier. The maps are a lot smaller than the real Pac-Man, which makes it a lot easier to get killed by one of the ghosts. Some things that this version of Pac-Man has over the original is that this version actually has more than one map, so this means this is the definitive version, right? Right? The next game I have is Space Invaders by Havacalc. Of all the other versions of Space Invaders, I picked this one. In this version, you shoot pies that are lowering over time. This is how the original played. We're off to a good start so far. But here's where things start going south. This game isn't even that hard. There's a mechanic in this version where when you shoot, the bullet moves to where your ship is. That's a cool idea, but sometimes it just seems a little overpowered when there's only a few left. If you want to shoot something, just move right underneath an alien. There's also no bunkers to hide behind, which I'm kind of glad because that would make this game even easier. My problem is that there's no difficulty progression from what I can tell of. The aliens don't move quicker towards you after each round, and in a game like Space Invaders, that's kind of necessary so it won't be too easy and boring. I'm not saying this one is bad, it's just okay. And finally, Tetris. One of the greatest puzzle games ever made, has actually been ported over pretty well to the calculator. It runs perfectly and controls great. It's pretty much Gameboy Tetris, but without the sound, because, well, it's a calculator. A cool feature this version has is that if you're with a friend that also has a graphing calculator with Tetris, you can actually play multiplayer by using the data exchange cables. Now, I don't have another graphing calculator to test this out, but that feature truly makes this the most accurate port of any game to the calculator in my opinion. This is probably my favorite out of all the other calculator games. Each of them has some fun out of them. Even the ones that aren't as good as the other ones still aren't the worst thing out there. Yeah? Okay, so apparently I have been procrastinating too much with my calculator gaming that the government got involved, and now calculators have gotten permanently banned because people might as well just be using their cell phone if they want to play the real Jezzball instead of the Joe Wingman Needle version. But if the government wants to ban calculators, they can't take all of them!